We've been looking at photos and videos of the CX-90 for a few weeks, and yes, earlier this week I was actually in the car, driving the car, experiencing the car, and so it's time that we talk about the drive of the CX-90.
More car vids. More car vids.
What's up, everybody? I'm Jonathan Sewell in Mitchell Mazda on the Boulevard in Enterprise, Alabama. And a few days ago, I was in Atlanta in the CX-90, and it was absolutely amazing. This event was the CX-90 Immersion, just a little bit north of Atlanta. We had dealership employees, Mazda employees, to learn about the new powertrains, experience them behind the wheel, check out, put our hands on it, sit in it. This is projected to be the second highest selling vehicle in Mazda's lineup. And of course, the CX-70 is going to be right on its heels. So these two large platform crossovers are going to be important to Mazda's lineup in the future and for many years to come. And in most situations, I didn't get all the videos and all the footage that I wanted, but we will look at the drive. Starting out, in the first experience that my team, we broke up into teams, had was this highway drive versus the competition. And you can see here that the competition included the Wagoneer, the Acura MDX, the Volvo XC90, the Toyota Highlander, the Kia Telluride, and the Honda Pilot. And you can see here by this footage that they had them pretty much spaced out with a competitor, a CX-90, a competitor, a CX-90. On this drive, they only had the standard inline six and the plug-in hybrid, so I did drive or ride in those two vehicles. So the first Mazda that we drove was the standard inline six. As you can see from this footage, I was in the front passenger seat, and this is going to be a sleeper. This inline six with 280 horsepower was very quick, very torquey, put me in my seat when we accelerated right off the bat here. And this was a Premium Plus, so it had all the amenities, as you can see getting started, and we'll see different footage here. It had the 360 camera with the new see-through view, so you might can see that as part of the vehicle, kind of looking through the car. Very quick, very torquey, and the handling was amazing. So as we went around, kind of uphill, downhill, all the way around, but this was very impressive on the road, highway speeds. This inline six, although most of us were all excited about the Turbo S and the 340 horsepower, this one, of course, is going to be the lower price point, the standard engine, and it's very, very nice, and I don't think you'll be disappointed. This is the one to check out, especially if you're trying to stay closer to the CX-9 price range. I was actually sitting in the back during the drive of the plug-in, as you can see from this footage, and thanks to my buddy Ed Camden from Nelson Mazda in Cool Springs, he'll appear in more footage as we go forward here. But the plug-in, of course, we were last or second to last. Most of the battery had been depleted. The instructor actually recommended us to put it in charge mode, which would allow the engine to charge it. We did not have enough battery to drive it in just EV mode, in the new drive mode EV, which I was curious into trying that, but we didn't have enough juice. This is the 2.5 liter turbo, have a good sound just like the inline six. Inline six naturally better, more throaty and meaty, but this one did sound great, just a little bit louder as you'd expect. Very impressive, and of course the benefit of the plug-in hybrid is that you would, in most cases, depending on the final range that they release in full battery, you can save on fuel in your commute perhaps, or at least get better fuel economy all the way around because of the four-cylinder with the help of the larger battery. Now let me share what some of the other participants said, not me, although I agree with these statements, but let me just share a few of what they said. They said of the CX-90, the inline six, the pickup was amazing, which I'll agree. The handling was very nice. The 8-speed transmission was smooth and sharp. So they could tell from that acceleration that it was just right there when it needed to. And I think it was just overall impressive, especially compared to some of the competitors. So let's jump into the next segment of this immersion or training. The first drive in this was a lower speed Jinba E-Tai. Jinba E-Tai, of course, is horse and rider as one. And this was just a lot of 90-degree turns, as you can see from this video. And I'm actually in the front passenger seat here as we're going through this course. A lot of 90-degree turns. And then there's actually towards the end a 270-degree turnaround. And this is what really impressed me the most. And you can actually see some of the footage of me driving through this. What impressed me the most was how we went through this 270-degree turn. And of course, we didn't want to hit any of these cones on this course. I wasn't locked on that turn maxed out. I could actually almost turn on a dime. It's really impressive and amazing. Of course, just to speak for the suspension, it's similar to the CX-5. So you have double wishbone up front and multi-link in the rear. So four-wheel independent suspension. And the turning radius was just unbelievable. The second part of this, of course, the joy of driving. And this one, I was in the back seat with Ed. So it was a little bit higher speed, had a couple of little quick slaloms through, then around, and kind of a little S back and forth. Did not hit any cones. Ed didn't, we didn't. But you can tell, and I'm going to be quiet here to go back to the beginning of this video. We're in the Turbo S in this. So we did drive the plug-in and the Turbo S through the low-speed course. This one is the Turbo S. Although we didn't have a long distance to accelerate, I want you just to listen to this. And I can only imagine how that would sound out on the highway. And of course, this is the bad boy. Don't know what fuel was in it, but 340 horsepower. The car was doing exactly what it wanted to do. No body roll, of course. KPC standard on this vehicle. KPC is specifically about the rear, tucking those different brakes to prevent body roll. Everything handled great, especially considering they had 21-inch wheels. And I think you're going to be very impressed by the drive. Now, just to finish up here and mention, every dealer that opted in for the program will be getting a Mazda courtesy vehicle coming by the end of the month. In some cases, ours hasn't left Japan yet, but we will have vehicles available for you to drive up for 6 months as that 180-day Mazda courtesy vehicle program. So make sure that if you're considering this vehicle and want to drive it, they will always have one available for you. Ours is the standard inline 6, which I think will be great. And there will be some Turbo S's, but mostly standard inline 6s. Then we'll have a plug-in in a month or two after. So you'll have availability to put your hands on these vehicles, sit in them, drive them. I think that wraps it up for this edition of CX-90 crossover updates, the drive. Fantastic. If you have any additional questions or comments, drop them down below or text me at 334-718-0504. I'll be here on the Boulevard listening for all the latest Mazda news. And I'll see you on the next one.
More garbage.